Is body mass index, or BMI, really the best measure of your health? Experts are shifting away from using this one-size-fits-all metric to diagnose obesity. Today, we're exploring the evolving science behind obesity and why waist circumference and health markers might matter more. From Wits and Weights, I'm Philip Pape, and this is Nutrition Science Daily, bringing you the latest nutrition, fat loss, and health science all in under 5 minutes. For decades, body mass index, or BMI, has been the go-to measure for determining whether someone is underweight, normal weight, overweight, or obese. But new guidelines from global health experts suggest it is time to retire BMI as the sole metric for diagnosing obesity because it is not complete. BMI is a simple calculation. It's based on your height and weight, and it's easy to measure. It's useful for population-level trends, but it doesn't account for body composition, muscle mass, fat distribution, or individual health factors. For example, a strength athlete with significant muscle mass might be classified as obese by BMI standards despite having low body fat and excellent health markers. I fall in that category, as do many folks that I know who lift weights. Many of my clients would be considered slightly on the larger end according to BMI, but it's because they have a lot of muscle mass. A recent article from the Associated Press highlights this push to use additional diagnostic tools. Waist circumference, for example, is a much better indicator of visceral fat, which is the fat surrounding your internal organs, and it poses a higher risk for metabolic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and certain cancers. Men who have a waist circumference over 40 inches and women over 35 inches are considered at higher risk regardless of BMI. And again, as a side tangent, I use this with my clients when we track data. We definitely take waist circumference among other body circumference measurements. And you can do that at home yourself. This shift also emphasizes the metabolic health markers, which are always super important, like blood sugar levels, triglycerides, cholesterol, blood pressure, which all give you context for someone's health rather than just BMI by itself, right? A person with a BMI in the quote-unquote normal range, but then they have poor metabolic health, they might be at much greater risk than someone with a higher BMI, but excellent health markers. So what does this mean for you? First, ditch that obsession with just these single metric categories, whether it is the scale or whether it is BMI. I want you to instead focus on improving your body composition. More muscle, less fat. That is the approach that's most sustainable and tends to align with just about anybody's health goals. And how can you do this? First, I would measure your waist to hip ratio, or use your waist and neck and hip measurements to use the Navy formula to determine your body fat or your fat distribution. And then this can provide some info on visceral fat levels. There's also a body roundness index. You could look it up on Google, body roundness. That's fairly new. That can be helpful. So that's number one. Number two is, tracking your progress with, how much are you lifting in the gym? Yes, your body circumference measurements, your photos, progress photos. How do you feel? Your energy, your biofeedback, all of that kind of stuff. And then number three is just getting a checkup, right? Getting your basics like blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol levels tested, and just have a baseline and track those over time. If you're older, you might also be interested in other markers as well as hormone panels and things like that you can then take action on and improve and see the before and after, right? And so the goal here isn't to demonize body weight. Definitely not. It's not to demonize appearance, but it's really to optimize your health and longevity. And so if we could be more contextual and more personalized beyond just something like BMI, it's a more nuanced, individualized approach that does consider who you are and your body and your lifestyle. So just to recap, BMI is no longer enough to diagnose obesity or health. You've got to add things like waist circumference, body composition, metabolic health markers to get a more accurate picture of that. All right, for a deeper dive into improving your body composition and metabolic health, check out the Wits and Weights podcast. I've covered topics like body circumference and tracking, measuring progress, sustainable fat loss, all of it. Go check that out. And then text this episode to a friend who, maybe needs to understand different ways to measure their true progress and their true health and wants a smarter approach. All right, tomorrow we're going to discuss how nutrition and exercise practitioners can help you achieve your health and fitness goals with those personalized strategies. So hit follow if you want to catch tomorrow's episode, and I'll see you there.